Here are 4 ways to use the bird dog. It's not just a core exercise, it's not just a balance exercise, it's much more than that. So what we're going to do is explore these 4 ways and talk about how you can build it into your exercise program. If you want to build your low back strength and endurance, please do click the link below, go through to my How to Build Low Back Strength Endurance 12-week online program, where you'll go through exercises like this, building your low back strength, but not just the muscles of the lower back, but also the muscles around the lower back. The first way and most basic way is to build what's called proprioception. So that's basically you learning how to feel you're in the right position. So it's you knowing where your body is and what it's doing without having to look. So as an example, I've got a mirror here. When I go into certain positions, I can use this mirror to go, yep, that's me in the right position. That's a good use of how to build proprioception, but what we want to be able to do is go into positions and know that we're in the position without having to look, so we can feel the position. And that's what the bird dog is great for, and that's what a lot of exercises can be used for. So the reason why this is a good exercise to do is because not only do we need to maintain posture of the spine, we also need to move the shoulder and we need to move the opposite hip. So with regards to the position that we want to be in, so we want that curve through the spine, so the natural curve in the spine. But what happens a lot is when people come into the position and they'll arch. So they'll bring the leg up too high, they'll bring the arm up too high, and they'll break that position. What we want to be able to do is when we come into this position, we want to maintain that position. So we need to learn that if I start to come much higher, now my hip goes. So we need to know just through feel that that's my position. It's exactly the same with the arm. I know that about there is a good position for me. I can hold that. I know I'm in the right position. Then I can come back down. Even when I change position, there's not a loss of position and then coming back in. It's we hold the position and then off we go. Now the easiest way to do this, if you've noticed, is when I bring my arms back, I'm not bringing them back down, I'm bringing them and sliding them along the floor into position, and it's the same when I go out. So I push, it's as if I'm pushing my foot back like that, because if I lift, that then allows me to arch my back. But if I'm in this position, I just push my foot away, my back stays in position. It's exactly the same with the arm. So I need to push it along the floor so it lifts from the floor, so I can get the other benefits from it that we're going to talk about in a minute. But what we're also getting is the maintenance of position. So we're building that proprioception so we know what our body's doing, when it's doing it, and we know that we're staying in a good position without having to use things like mirrors or other coaches or other people or video to be able to tell us that we're in the position. That can be a good place to start, but we don't want to be there all the time. Number 2 is to build back musculature. So I've just got a couple of light weights there. Now, when we come down into position, obviously we want the position that we've just talked about. So we want the shoulders level, we want the hands underneath the shoulders, we want the knees underneath the hips. We also want to maintain the position of the back. We want to lightly brace the abdominals. What then happens is when we lift the leg, we want to be able to feel this glute muscle working. What will also be happening are these muscles on this side of the low back will start to work because they're holding this hip up. If they stop working, the hip drops. So we come into this position. What also happens on the other side is these muscles at the sort of the top of the back, and you can also get the lats working if you screw the shoulder like that and have the palm almost pointing upwards. What you've then got is you've got the glutes working, you've got longissimus and iliocostalis working, or the erector spinae group. You will also have QL and other muscles working as well, but then on the opposite side, lats will be working, upper traps, rear deltoid, they will all be working. So it's a really easy way of being able to get all of that musculature working, and it's all of that musculature that supports the lower back, because all these muscles, they join into a tissue called the thoracolumbar fascia. Now the thoracolumbar fascia is important because it covers the entire low back area. What it also does is it joins in, so if they're the spinous processes on the back of the spine, it joins in, and when it's pulled taut, it lifts them and stabilizes them in position. So you get the posterior shear forces acting against anterior shear forces. So they neutralize and they stabilize the lower back. It's a bit of a misconception that low back muscles do all the support for the lower back. It's actually all this whole musculature that supports the lower back, because they pull the thoracolumbar fascia tight, supporting and holding up the vertebra in place. And the better that those muscles are working as a whole group, the more support your lower back will get. So what you can also do when you want to add a little bit of load to it, you just get a couple of light dumbbells. Again, hold the exact same position and just come out here. Again, you'll feel a little bit more in the way of work, because, and if you've got any ankle weights, again, you can add those, and that will just stimulate that whole posterior chain of muscles to work a little bit more, so you'll get a little bit more out of them. They're building strength, they're building endurance. Most importantly, you'll gain the stability, because they'll all fire at the same time. Again, bringing that tension through the lower back to be able to support the lumbar vertebra that much more. So the second way is to get that whole rear or posterior musculature activating, and you can add just lightweight. It doesn't need to be heavy weights, you can add light weights to that as well. Use number 3 is to stabilize. We've started to talk about it already. So when we lift the arms up off the floor, that will stabilize, but we've only really talked about the lower back with regards to stabilizing. What we also need to talk about is the shoulder and the opposing hip, because when we're in this position and we lift both up, we've got balance that's happening as well. So what we would do is we would start off with a nice wide base. So if you look here, I've got a nice wide base. That's going to give me as much support as possible. So when I lift up, I've got a nice wide base to be able to balance on. Now, some people, your hips may roll either way, your shoulders may roll either way. That's normal. That would be, first of all, you would build proprioception, then you would build this balance. Once you've built the balance and the stability of the joint, then you can start building the musculature with the added weight and so on and so forth. So you would start with a wide base, and basically what you're looking for is the hips to stay, the shoulders to stay level, and then the hips to stay level as well, and holding that position. Obviously then you're building the stability when you lift, so all the muscles activate, that will stabilize the spine. Then as you prevent and minimize the amount of wobble, you will then stabilize the shoulder and the opposing hip, and that sort of diagonal sling of muscles that go across. And then when you swap sides, you will do the exact same across, diagonally across the other way as well. So once we've got stable in that position, one of the things that we would do is bring a narrower base and hold here and hold here. Again, keeping the shoulders level, keeping the hips level and not wobbling. And then again, you can come all the way together, holding there. You can start to see now there's a little bit of a wobble going on, or I can certainly feel it. But again, what we can then do, if you really want to, you can bring sort of that hand in front of the opposite knee, and then it gets a lot harder. So you can see wide base to narrow, that will help you stabilize. So you're stabilizing not only the lower back, but you're also stabilizing the shoulder joint by keeping the shoulders level. You're also stabilizing the hips by keeping the hips level. The fourth use of the bird dog is to get the hips and shoulders working independently of themselves, and the spine as well. So what that means, with regards to static exercises, so we want to maintain shoulders, hips and spine all in line, and we want to keep that and hold that position. But that isn't always how movement works, that isn't always how exercise works. So we need to obviously move the shoulders, move the hips, but what we want to be able to do is move the hips and the shoulders without the spine flexing and extending and losing that position. And the bird dog is a very easy way to do that, because that's what we are doing with the exercise. We're moving the hips and the shoulders, but without moving the torso. But we don't just have to move up and down. There are other things that we can do to improve this. And what this is also going to do, this is going to help build our proprioception as well. So what it would look like, obviously we've got holding that position, so a light brace just to hold the spine in position, and then that's our first bit. So we've gone from here to here without losing position of the spine. So that's sort of position number one. What I would then recommend is create a fist, point the toes to the ceiling, point the toes to the ground in fact, and then what you would do is you would move each apart. But again, what we're not doing is moving the spine with it. The spine and the torso stay level. So what we're doing, if you can see straight on, so we come up, we maintain position of the spine, we come wide, we go down, we go across, we go up. So all the time we're able to dissociate what joint is working and able to maintain posture of the spine. This can then translate out into other exercises like overhead presses or squatting, because what can happen if we're squatting is you can sort of lose position here, whereas we want the hips to move without the spine moving. Or we can come into an overhead press position and we want the shoulders to come up and over, but what again can happen is we can sort of bring the hips through and use that as a compensation. But what we want to be able to maintain is here, torso level, shoulders up through. That's what the bird dog starts to help us understand how to do. Again, it's not a direct transfer of learning, but what it does start to do is it helps you understand that when I'm in this position and I draw my box, I'm starting to maintain posture here. I'm not moving my torso with it. I'm able to separate the two and hold the position. So it's a very simple way of just building that understanding of how the shoulders can move without the spine moving, being able to break that, because again, as people move, they will tend to be too rigid through the torso, through the hips, whereas we need to break that. We need to be rigid through the torso, but maybe not so rigid through the hips, so on and so forth. So we can start to understand movement in a little bit of a different way, or understand exercise in a little bit different way, just by using those 4 ways that we can start building and using the bird dog to be able to help us improve our strength, endurance, stability, balance, muscle activation, and proprioception. So hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully it's given you a better idea of how you can use exercise. It's not just about feeling the burn. There is a lot more to exercise than that. So if you've liked the tutorial, hit the like button. If you've learned something new, hit the thanks button. If you want to watch more tutorials like this, please do hit the bell icon, the subscribe button and the bell icon. And then finally, if you've got a question or a comment, please do leave it down below.